I don't know when this video is gonna come out. I want it to be finished before April 2nd, but if it takes more than today to edit this, just know that this is supposed to be an April Fool's video. So, yeah, I love you guys. Anyways, bye. Titanic. The Shawshank Redemption. The Room. What do these films all have in common? They're considered to be the greatest films ever made by man. And Coda is the best film made by woman. Get it? Okay, that joke wasn't funny, but what I'm trying to say is that Unico should be up there and regarded as a top tier film. I watched all 3 Unico movies and an episode of a show about global warming that features Unico in an episode. And guys, I can't stress this enough. He's just a little fucking guy. Unico is not only a god tier film, but a non-believer tier film, since according to Frank Ocean, that's the only thing more powerful than a god. This film series is better than any movie series and literally solos Cardi's entire discography. So this is my video essay on why Unico is the best movie franchise of all time. Okay, so let's start off with the lore of Unico. Let's start out with the lore of Unico first. It was a manga series created by Osamu Tezuka, the creator of Astro Boy and Kimba the White Lion, in 1976. The story in the movies is different from the manga plot, but the manga's plot is about a unicorn. Fucking hell! About a unicorn owned by Roman goddess. What the fuck is wrong with me? Owned by Greek goddess Psyche in ancient Greece. But Roman goddess Venus doesn't like how pretty Psyche is and decides to command the west wind to take Unico away from Psyche to a place where his memories would be erased and he wouldn't remember Psyche. That's really sad, but there's your context. In the movie, The Fantastic Adventures of Unico, the story is a little bit different. Instead of Unico being owned by Psyche and being taken away from Venus, this version had Unico being taken away from his mother by just the unnamed gods of Olympus, because he's too cute. When he's taken away, he meets a devil named Bezel, who is played by the girl who plays Angelica Pickles from Rugrats in the English dub. He makes a promise to Bezel that'll give Bezel his horn if Bezel becomes Unico's friend, and the horn just pops right off, and eventually Bezel somehow almost drowns himself, and Unico has to rescue him by transforming to a big unicorn. Eventually, a random villain who I forget the name of finds Unico, and the West Wind has to take him away from Bezel. He eventually meets a cat named Katie, who wants to be a witch. They eventually find an old lady, and Katie thinks she's a witch, but the old lady is actually just an old lady. Unico turns Katie into a human, but for some reason doesn't tell Katie, and she thinks the old lady did it, and works for her. But for some reason, I forgot because I haven't seen the movie in 2 weeks. Unico turns Katie into a cat for a bit, and then he turns her back into a human. Katie is then drugged and kidnapped by a hot guy, and the hot guy turns into a dragon, and then Bezel comes back. They defeat the bad guy. Unico's taken away again, and I rushed this last bit because my Google site is running out of space. In the movie The Fantastic Adventures of Unico, the story is I'm just realized I'm reading from the exact same script I just read from. When Unico and the Island of Magic starts off... Hold on. Then, Unico in the Island of Magic starts off where the last one left off, and he's taken to the first where he meets a cat. I just realized I meant to spell forest. He's taken to a forest where he meets a fat cat, and he eventually finds this scary magic flute guy, who joins forces with the fat cat, and they're both told by Scary Wizard Guy that they need to turn everyone into puppets. Unico eventually meets a little girl, and Unico's very small compared to this already very small girl. I wrote girl twice. But anyways, it's revealed the flute guy is the little girl's brother, and he turns his parents into puppets. but not Unico and the girl, because he's good, actually. He then eventually turns everyone besides the girl and Unico in the world into puppets, and they build a giant puppet castle that the old guy lives in, and Unico and the girl have to find a Sphinx. But she isn't in this one. Instead, it's the Sphinx's son or daughter that looks like Buttercup from the Powerpuff Girls. Instead, the Sphinx's son or daughter that looks like Buttercup from the Powerpuff Girls is there, and they find a Trojan horse instead that tells them the wizard guy is actually a puppet who was thrown away, and that's why he wants... I spelled that right. That's why he wants everyone else to be puppets. And Unico eventually tells the wizard he'll be his friend. And then that kills the wizard, so everyone's back to normal, and I kinda speedran this whole movie, didn't I? ... Well, anyways, the next movie is actually the first one since it's only 30 minutes long and not very special. It's about Unico finding a talking rat in a sick girl who's sick because of evil corporations, and Unico takes down the evil buildings, and the girl stops being sick. Great. The crossover episode I mentioned earlier isn't very special, besides the fact that the Sphinx is actually in this one. But besides that, it's nothing special. I love Unico so much. You guys don't even understand how much I love this little goober. I think I just like Sanrio in general, which is what Unico's owned by, because they can make so many little goobers I love so quickly and in large amounts. I mean, Sanrio makes like 50 characters a year, and they're all fire. But anyways, yeah. Unico is the greatest film series ever, and if I had to recommend a Unico movie, it'd probably be The Fantastic Adventures. But that's just my opinion, and I can see why people would say Unico and the Island of Magic. I mean, Fantastic Adventures is like 3 episodes of a TV show put together, but Island of Magic seems to be more of a movie with one plot throughout. Happy April Fools, unless it's April 2nd when I finish this video. And I love you. Bye. Okay, wait, actual goodbye? I just want to say, thanks for sticking to my rambling that I did all in one take. This was written to be serious, with just a couple jokes in it, but I kept cracking up at my own script, and I didn't want to redo it, because I already wanted to get this video out before 12, and it's currently 8:30. But yeah, thanks for listening, and I'm sorry the Daft Punk video sucked so badly. Okay, love you.
Watch my 5'2" mouth. First of all, I'm glad you said that. I'm not 5'2", I'm 5'3".